After 2 games in both this series and also the American League, it felt like the Phillies and Rangers were going to cruise their way to meet in the World Series, but the Astros, of course, win 3 games in Arlington, and the Rangers dismantled the Astros in Game 7. And for the Diamondbacks, they showed some life out in Arizona, winning 2 of 3 games at home. Drew Aller fed off this whiteout energy tonight, throwing for a career-high 4 touchdowns, but it was the Nittany Lion defense that impressed, holding the Hawkeyes to under 100 total yards. They are 6-0 now for the first time in 5 seasons. That goes back to 2018, the last time they were in the 1A state title game, and now we bring in head coach Steve Jervis. And coach, I don't want to bring up November and December with you just yet, 1 week at a time, but what do you kind of attribute to this team's 6-0 start? These players aren't recruited from all over the state. They're homegrown in Dallas, families that grew up here. They watched the team in 2019 make it to the state championship. It's a brand new roster of players, and now they have their own opportunity to come out here and win a title. Now, talking larger picture, of course, if they win tonight, they get to second place like you mentioned, but focusing on the rest of the season and keeping our eyes towards April when the postseason starts. I'm sure the Penguins would love to get back in the Calder Cup playoffs. What's the one thing to you that you think the Penguins have to do the rest of the regular season in order to not only make the playoffs, but make a run in the Calder Cup? Sunday's highpoint.com 400 race, that's where a lot of the big names will show out for the Cup Series, and one name in particular is Chase Elliott, who hasn't had the greatest 2023 season. He's dealt with injuries and his suspension early on. What's kind of on the line for him as he gets to the track this weekend? Last year, these two teams met in the district semifinals. Valley View, of course, lost to Crestwood in the championship, but tonight they go for a title. First, focusing on Dallas, this has been one of the most explosive offenses in the entire area. They've scored 40 points in 8 of their 12 games this year. We know how good the offense is across the board. Rich Manello is a big fan of this team, not because he's got all seniors, but also the supporting cast, the juniors and sophomores. Number 1 versus number 2 doesn't get much sweeter than that, especially when it's right down the road from us. The 2 best wrestling programs in the nation coming together for a Friday night duel, and everybody wanted a taste of the Blue Knights and the Bucks. A packed gym at SEM. We start at 132 pounds. Penn State commit Luke Lillidahl in overtime with Matt Lopes. Lillidahl, the 2-point takedown for the sudden death victory. SEM up 6-0 in the match. Blair storms back to tie it at 6. Anthony Evaniski for the Knights, the takedown in the second over Joe Schneider. SEM goes back up 9-6. SEM's Vince Bousakis down late in the third to Paul Oganasi, but Bousakis goes with the reversal and proves to be massive. He climbs back to win 8-6, and SEM goes up 6. The Knights needing a victory to secure the match, and Davis Mutika does exactly that. The takedown in the third to win the match 11-7 and give Wyoming Seminary the win over Blair 27-21.
Wrestle hard. Those kids came out to win. Our kids came out to win. You know, matchups where you thought you were going to be dominant, you wouldn't. And just had to get the W. So just showed a lot of grit and got it done. So definitely excited for the kids in the program.
This is a huge match, 1 versus 2. We knew going into it it's going to be a dogfight. We stuck it out. We won those close matches. We held on. We didn't give up bonus points, and we were out there to fight. So that's what we did.
I would say it's a lot bigger than people think, just because it's a home duel, and we're cementing our spot for the rest of the year as #1 team in the country. So that's really cool and really important too.
SEM with a few more regular season duels before states and nationals beginning February 16th. The Hazleton boys hosting the first of 2 meetings with Wilkes-Barre. The Wolfpack 8 consecutive wins after an 0-3 start in the first quarter. The Cougars pushing the pace. Nice cut from Luke Gennaro, setting up the easy 2. We were low scoring in the first, just a 10-7 Hazleton lead. The offense picked up after that. Wilkes-Barre getting a full display of scoring from David Januzzi, coast to coast. A difficult shot, but the sophomore making it look easy. Then it's Evan Laybourne body way behind the 3-point line and drills the 3, letting the Cougar students know Wolfpack go up 4. Hazleton has a budding star in its hand. The freshman Dylan Stish hitting the 3. Wilkes-Barre up 3 at halftime. Laybourne body and Januzzi combined for 47 points, and the Wolfpack on the road beat Hazleton 72-64. They're now 9-3 on the season. Out to District 4, these 2 teams will be dangerous in the postseason. Central Columbia hosting Shamokin. Shamokin grabbing into the cookie jar, poking it loose, and Carly Nye finishing on the other end for the fast break bucket. Central responds with a bucket +1. Haley Bull drains the triple for the Blue Jays. Bowl a game-high 15 points. Delilah Nazi bullying her way into the paint, finishing at the cup with the finger roll. Central, they're searching for an 11th straight victory. Aaron Prezioso puts in the open layup. We're knotted at 8 after the first. The Blue Jays begin to pull away in the second. Bull take all 3 of these. The Blue Jays now 14-1. They take it over Shamokin 39-27. The Penguins on the road in Providence, a huge opportunity to gain some ground on the Bruins and off to a great start. Sam Poulin finds the back of the net, his 6th goal of the year and the only of the first period. Let's go to the second period now. Vinny Hinestroza locating Ty Smith, and from way out past the glove and into the net, all of a sudden the Penguins lead 2-0 heading into the final 20, but the Bruins score 3 unanswered, capped off by an Ian Mitchell overtime goal. The Penguins, they grab a point, but fall to the Bruins 3-2. Not far from us is Mountaineer Stadium in Dallas, looking for its first district championship since 2019. That year, they came 1 win away from a state championship, 12-0 versus 10-2. Dallas up 7-0 early. Valley View at their own 1 after stopping Dallas on 4th and goal. Dom Memo deep for Kyle Rupp. He races all the way to the end zone, 99 yards. That's 16 fantasy points for you folks at home playing. PAT no good. It's 7-6 Mountaineers. Later in the first, Brady Zapaticki with a nice throw. He says, hey, I've got a strong arm as well for Zach Pacheski deep into Cougars territory. Second quarter, same drive with just flip sides. Dylan Geske caps it off with a 1-yard rush. 14-6 Dallas lead. It would be 14-12 at halftime. Same score late in the third. Memo rolls to his right, throws back across the field to Nick Kacharski for the big gain. The Cougars inside the Mountaineers 5-yard line. Memo, he'll just sneak it in himself. Just a yard he needed. Valley View, they've got an 18-14 lead. Dallas driving down the field late in the fourth. On 4th down, Nick Farrell with the catch, breaks a few tackles. He's eventually brought down inside the 10-yard line. And how about this? Dylan Geske into the end zone with his 3rd touchdown of the evening. A bit of a scare for the Mountaineers, but they escape, winning a district chip 21-18 over Valley View. Seriously, I'm wondering who's doing laundry after this game. South Williamsport and Muncie, these two met back in week 7, an overtime win for the Indians. It was a shootout early on. South Williamsport keeps it on the ground with a 2-yard touchdown run by Ryan Casella. Mounties up 8-0. Muncie responds through the air. Check out the long pass. Styles Iyer to Landon Wammer, the 46-yard touchdown, cuts the lead to 8-7. South Williamsport, they answer with their own score on that. Now it's 15-7 in the second quarter. Launching a pass, Muncie through the air, and it's the same connection. Styles Iyer to Landon Wammer, 65 yards, makes it a 15-13 game. South Williamsport counterpunches with more from the ground game, a 5-yard touchdown run up the middle by Kaiser Kistner. It's 22-13 South Williamsport, and just 18 seconds left in the half. South Williamsport quarterback Tad Lusk keeping it himself to give the Mounties a 29-13 halftime lead. A lot of the same in the second half. A dominant victory from South Williamsport, 57-20 over Muncie. A 28-25 Danville win back in week 4. Totally different story tonight. A big reason why the junior, Bo Sheptalk, massive game for him. Into Lancer territory, he scored to cap off the drive. Loyal Sox turn, Tyler G on the run, looking for his main man. Jalen Andrews, a perfect throw for the touchdown. Loyal Sox takes a 7-6 lead, but there was no stopping Sheptalk. Over 300 yards on the ground and a touchdown machine. 4 tonight, moving his total to 18 on the season. Loyal Sox trying to convert just before the half. Tyler G's pass straight into the hands of Cameron Kirsch. Danville scores 34 unanswered and wins its 4th straight District 4 title, 40-7. Dunmore, they've got the winning formula as of late, 7 in a row heading into tonight. First possession for the Bucks. They go right down the field. Jacob Hickey, 29 yards to the house for the score, 7-0 Dunmore. Ensuing kickoff. The ball takes a funky bounce. Williams Valley can't handle it. Cole Fangio pounces on it to set Dunmore up in the red zone. Very next play, Daniel Piga past some defenders and straight to the paint for a touchdown. 14-0 Bucks. Not the last time you hear Piga in these highlights. Leaps over his teammate for a 2-yard rush. A 20-0 ball game. Dunmore back in the red zone. You might want to tackle number 2, Brett. All right, never mind. Touchdown Piga, he cashes in another one, 27-zip. Piga's like a 7-Eleven. You know where I'm going here. He's always open.
24/7.
24/7. There we go. Big head for Piga. And then this time, a receiving touchdown for Daniel Piga. Yeah, he had 5 tonight. Daniel Piga and Dunmore takes on Camp Hill in the quarterfinals next week. Mary Ellen Watkins has been drag racing for over 30 years, and she does it in plenty of style. And if you think Watkins plans on stopping anytime soon, you might want to think again. There's one thing that keeps Mary Ellen Watkins drag racing even after 31 years.
Right there. I love driving that car. And a lot of people love it too.
The bright orange 1956 Chevy station wagon has been part of Watkins and her late husband's life for nearly 40 years. They found the vehicle at Super Chevy Weekend in 1983, and her husband would spend hours fixing the car to get it in just the perfect condition.
Over the years, he stripped the car, painted the car, took it off, took the body off the frame, changed everything, not just about everything, changed everything.
He was a drag racer himself, and eventually their kids finally convinced Mary Ellen to start her own career on the track.
When my kids got a little bit older, they would notice that they would have like Mother's Day races, and they said, "Oh, Mom, you should race your car." And so my husband said, "Sure, why not?" So I got a lot of his old parts, and he put them on my car.
Her daughter Katie would also race with them, and she's now built a strong career on the NHRA circuit. But over the years, Watkins has made a name for herself in both the street tire class and pro class. Last year, winning both races on the same exact day, which is unheard of. Watkins would love to credit winning to her skills behind the wheel, but sometimes it comes down to the mistakes the other drivers make.
Somebody red lights to you, somebody runs under, which means they go faster than they say they're going to go. But you also have to concentrate and have a good light, which means leave the line when you're supposed to, not too early, not too late, and do the same thing all the time. When you get to the finish line, if you're way behind the car, put on the brakes, so I figure that guy's going to go too fast.
This year, she's racing for points and is striving to compete in a much bigger divisional race at the New Media Dragway in September. It's a big commitment to keep racing at such a high level, but it's also a way to stay connected with the one thing her husband dedicated his life to.
I do things that he would have done, and a lot of times I like doing those things. I find out I like them and that I actually did listen to him when he was doing these things. But I don't know, I just like keeping busy, and I certainly don't want to give this up until I have to.